This season had so much potential, and they messed it up. Oh yeah, we talking spoilers, by the way. I just finished season 4 of You. I have so many thoughts, but for the record, I love You, not like that, but You is probably one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I would say probably You, Black Mirror, Kingdom. Those are probably my top 3. As much as I love this show, I feel like season 3 should have been the last one. Played by Victoria Pedretti, I was upset when they decided to kill off Love Quinn. I think she's an amazing actress. If you haven't seen Haunting of Hill House or Haunting of Bly Manor, definitely check those out. Great show, great writing. She was amazing in them. As chaotic as Joe and Love's relationship was, I'm not surprised that they decided to end it that way, but I was still disappointed. And at the end of the season, when they showed Joe in Paris or whatever, I was like, man, we about to do this again? And here we are with season 4 with crazy old Joe and a whole new cast of characters. I don't let reviews influence me the same way I don't want this review to influence you. I managed to avoid spoilers online, but for the most part on Twitter, I saw everyone saying the same thing. This season sucks, it's garbage, it's mid. When I started watching, I was like, these people are crazy. I was on Twitter and Instagram telling people they were wrong. I really enjoyed the direction this season was going. At first, the twist of this season being more of a murder mystery and a whodunit story, great decision to me. You have this new friend group of annoying rich people. How does Joe manage to end up in these circles? I hated almost every character in his friend group. I was upset that more of them didn't die. You have the love interest Kate, who's the daughter of this powerful and rich guy named Tom Lockwood, who's basically one of the most powerful people on the planet. You have Lady Phoebe, who I actually ended up liking, which I was surprised about. Adam, Reese, Rold, what kind of name is that, no offense? And the rest of the friend group was kinda just there. This season was just all over the place. In this season, Joe, who's now known as Jonathan, he's a professor at a university. Joe is neighbors with Malcolm, who's a professor and also rich as hell, and he cheats on his girlfriend at almost every chance he gets. Joe saved Malcolm's girlfriend Kate one night when she was being robbed, and to thank Joe for saving Kate, Malcolm invites him out to an event one night where he meets the rest of the rich and elite friend group. Joe got blacked out drunk, Malcolm took him home. Joe woke up the next morning not knowing what's going on, but Malcolm was dead on his kitchen table with a knife stuck in his chest. Joe has killed so many people, he can't even remember if he did this one or not. Just to be safe, he got rid of the body. At the end of the episode, he gets an anonymous text message from someone basically saying that Joe is being set up. Now it's time to find out who the real killer is, and here we go. I loved this new dynamic of the show. I'm no fun, I'm Squidward. With things like this, I usually try to solve the plot before it's revealed, just like I was doing in Scream 6. I ended up guessing Reese or Kate, so I'll give myself a gold star for kinda being right. I love that somebody knew Joe's secret and this new cat and mouse dynamic of trying to stop somebody from being killed, because usually Joe's the one that's in control. The mansion episode, for example, had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Is the killer gonna kill the friends one by one on this vacation? Is Rold really the killer? Kate is sitting over Gemma's dead body with a bloody knife, and they ruin it. They revealed the killer in episode 5, and I was like, we got 5 more episodes to go. I thought that was gonna be the main story of the season, and once they cut that short, I was like, okay. So now Evil Reese is forcing Joe to complete these murders as he's preparing his campaign to run for mayor, and I hated this part. So they hit you with that twist, which wasn't a twist for me since I guessed it right, but they hit you with another twist and they were like, well, actually, this was all in Joe's head. I need to start live streaming because I wish y'all could have saw my face when I saw Joe kill Reese and they pulled that crap. Really? Like, please let Reese have this twin we're just learning about instead of Joe just going crazy. And then on top of that, my girl Marianne, who I thought was free, she's brought back into the story. She was going through it in that box. Don't get me wrong, I think Victoria Pedretti is a beautiful woman, but the actress that plays Marianne, Joe, I would have been on that plane too. In episode 1, we actually believe that Marianne is set free, but in reality, we learned that Joe drugged her and locked her inside one of the signature glass boxes. How does Joe keep building this thing? Even Penn Badgley joked about it in an interview, saying that each box will probably cost around $30,000. We like the show, so whatever. Around episode 8 is when I started to realize this whole season has been a mess. They introduced this fixer character for the Quinn family. That story went nowhere. The security guard that plays Alfred in Gotham dies, and I don't think a character even mentions it, unless I missed it. A majority of the friend group was pointless and just there. I'll give you a gold star if you can tell me these 2 character names. They kept hinting at this female photographer character. Her plotline was so stupid. The only reason she was there was so they can pin murders on her and move the story forward. The way she was looking at Joe, I was like, she has to know who he is. She's a cop, she's gonna expose him. But nope, just some random crazy superfan of Phoebe that came out of nowhere. You could argue that she's there to show that Joe doesn't understand that he himself is a crazy fan, but the way they built her character up, she just seemed like she came out of nowhere. They even managed to ruin Nadia, who was one of my favorite new characters of this season. Nadia is a smart character, so I'm not mad that she was the one that became suspicious of Joe, but the fact that she got this random hunch just because Phoebe called him a hero, I was just like, what? And then I felt so bad the way her story ended. She tried to do the right thing. She helped Marianne, who's free and chilling with her daughter now. She tried to expose Joe for who he really is, and with all the good that she was trying to do, they made her go to jail and get framed for the murder of her boyfriend. Damn. I was mad they decided to drop the potential story of her having a relationship with their Professor Malcolm. I figured down the road Kate would have found out and something would have came from that. Kate and Nadia was at the same party with the superfan, but nothing happened. I would have loved to see an awkward interaction between Kate and Nadia, but we got nothing. Kate seemed so upset when Joe found those stack of letters behind the painting. I figured that was something that would have came into play later. Kate was somebody that surprised me because in the first few episodes, I hated her character. She was cartoonishly evil to Joe for some reason, but after her boyfriend and friend Simon dies, she was like, you know what, Joe? Let's go outside and have sex in broad daylight. Hey, shawty a freak. But once she started to act like a normal human, her character really grew on me, especially once we started to learn more about her past. Insert her father, Tom Lockwood, and once again, this season becomes a mess. I mean, the introduction of Tom was cool. Everyone on this season knows Joe as Jonathan, but as soon as the two of them meets, he's like, yo, I know who you are, Joe. Tom was intimidating. He established his power in just one scene, and I was rocking until he made Joe that offer to kill Reese. Joe went from stalking and jerking outside of a thought window in New York to now being persuaded to kill two powerful political figures. Joe killed real-life Reese and just strolled into the office of one of the most powerful people on the planet. They even referred to Tom as an Illuminati-like figure. Skinny old Joe just walked right into this man's base, and not only did Joe kill one of the most powerful people on the planet, he killed who I'm assuming is one of Tom's highly trained security guards. You would think one of the most powerful people in the world would have more security, a better surveillance system, something. Joe starts to realize he's going crazy, so he decides to jump off a bridge. He survives. He wakes up, he tells Kate about his entire past, and she's just like, it's cool, don't worry about it. Which, to me, that doesn't fit her character at all. This dude who she just met a few months ago told her that in his past he killed all these people, and the woman that grew up cold and strong was just like, who cares? The power of penis. This season could have been great in my opinion, but you start to realize that they rinse and repeat the same idea every season. Joe is just a regular guy who just so happens to get involved with these rich people, and suddenly everyone around him dies. One scene they did that caught me off guard was they showed Gwen Beck and Love Quinn talking to Joe, which I thought was pretty cool. Penn Badgley, Charlotte Ritchie, Amy Lee Hickman, Tati Gabrielle. Great performance. Tati Gabrielle, who I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, she was acting her ass off the entire season. Rent was due. Ain't that what girls be saying? Rent was due. The weird and charming thing about You is that they have you rooting for this psychopathic character in Joe, who over the years has had his fair share of crazy moments. But to see Joe go over the edge this season was the first time in the show's history that I was actually hoping he got caught. As of this moment, Joe won this season. It seems like this season could have been two separate seasons, but they forced them together. Obviously, part one, part two. For me, I enjoyed the murder mystery aspect of the show, but it felt like they just started to throw things at the wall to see what stuck. Now, as of this recording, they haven't confirmed the season 5 yet, but from what we just saw, I feel like it's pretty much guaranteed at this point. And I'm saying this as a fan, but if they do, please let this be the last one. This season ends with Joe pretty much being on top. He has a rich girlfriend and they plan on taking over the world together. Season 5 has to be the last one, and I would imagine they're gonna promote it as somebody's coming back to defeat Joe. You have Ellie, Marianne, the Fixer, Kate, Theo. If my memory's correct, I feel like all of these characters are still alive. I'm not gonna rate this season. I don't even know if you can rate TV shows, but I was disappointed. I went into this season with low expectations. I loved the first 5 episodes, but after that, honestly, I just mentally checked out. Please end this show. Don't drag it out for money. It honestly wasn't that hard to avoid spoilers. I feel like nobody was really talking about it. Compare this season's online conversation to something like The Last of Us. It's not good. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I wasn't able to upload as much as I wanted to this week. I had some life stuff going on, but we should be back to regular scheduled programming next week. Should be. But let me know you guys' opinion in the comment section below. As always, like, subscribe, follow on socials. Until next time, see you in the next life.